Hi everyone, welcome to the latest edition of the Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Wes McKinney, here with head men's and women's track and field cross country coach, Mike Cox. Coach, good to have you on today.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, it's cross country season. You guys are 2 meets in, getting ready for your third meet this weekend at Greensboro. I want to start on the guys' side first, a very veteran-laden team, a couple of first-team all-conference guys. You got a senior, a handful of juniors as well, but you also got some young guys that have contributed here early. I want to talk about how the veterans have helped some of these young guys along early in the season.
Well, it's nice to have the luxury of having a veteran squad. I mean, we've been there. We've won a conference championship. Those guys want to win another conference championship. I want to win another conference championship. We want to do better in the region. So I think those guys have laid the foundation for these the freshmen and have led by example as well as telling them what it's about, and it's exciting.
Coach, your first meet of the season over Labor Day weekend, you guys get a second-place finish at Virginia Tech. You come back the next week, I should say, and you get a first-place finish in the Division II portion of the Coastal Carolina Invite. What's been your overall thoughts on the guy side in your first 2 meets here?
I think we're sitting in a really good place. I mean, we're still working really hard, so I know they're tired, but they're working extremely hard. And I think we're right where we need to be. I mean, it's going to be a good test this weekend in seeing Charleston, which I definitely think is an underranked team. But for us, we just got to keep worrying about us, keep taking care of us. But again, I'm pleased with where we are.
You talk about those regional rankings just a moment ago. Your team is ranked 10th this week. We're 9th the previous 2 weeks. What's it been like? Do you feel like there's a little bit of a target on the teams back to the guys kind of feel a little bit more pressure than they did last year when they kind of rose up there at the very end of the season and won the conference? Is there any kind of pressure on the guys this year? I'm
not getting that from them. I mean, they're confident, which is what we need. Again, they just have to trust the training and being ready at the right time. And I'm going to do my best to make that happen. But I haven't gotten a sense of any type of pressure. I think we're happy that we're ranked in the top 10 in the region. It's something that we haven't had for a long time, so it's good to get that recognition. But we feel like we can be better than that. So that's our motivation, is to prove them wrong at the end of the season.
This will be the first meet of the season where it's a true 8,000-meter race, which is what the conference championship will be. You had a 6K at Virginia Tech, a 5K at Coastal Carolina. Is there any a different strategy heading into Greensboro here? And you also mentioned the University of Charleston will be there, which will be a contender at the end of the year as well. Is there any different strategy involved this weekend?
I don't think so. We just have to go out and run our races. I mean, that's our first 8K, but I think we're prepared for that, in our training. So we'll probably key off of Charleston some. I'm sure they'll probably be keying off of us, but we're just looking forward to getting out there and duking it out. I think it's going to be a tight race.
Flipping our attention to the girls now, it's a relatively young squad. No seniors, 1 junior, everyone else freshmen and sophomores. How have they helped as people that are younger, but once again experienced like your guys? How have they helped push each other this year?
We have a great group. We have a really tight pack there with the ladies. Which is great. The women that we've been here for a year now have laid the foundation. We have the true team atmosphere, and they're just pushing each other daily in practice. I mean, it's kind of changed up who's number 1, who's number 2, who's number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. I mean, girls are stepping up when some of you don't have the greatest day, which is a great option to have. But our pack on the women's side is tighter than our men's pack as far as the spread from 1 to 5 it has been. So if we can continue to do that, we can continue to do very well.
Just put in perspective here of how tight of a pack it's been. You've had 2 number 1s. Carly Thompson was your number 1 at Virginia Tech. Aiden Payton, the freshman, comes back and is your number 1 at Coastal Carolina. They have been runners of the week, each of them, and two of the first 3 weeks. What sort of positive momentum does that give them with such a young squad to see how well they've had results here early on?
Right. It just gives us confidence in knowing that we have that pack, and if someone again doesn't have a great day, there's someone else who can step up right there and fill in the shoes. So we just got to continue to keep moving that pack forward as a whole and keeping it as close together as we can.
Finally, here for your girls, a lot of them seasoned veterans, although only sophomores. How do they help keep some of the new girls fresh and focused here as we move towards the halfway point of the season? You're starting to get maybe the dog days a little bit of September before you gear up for championship in October. But how do you communicate to your veteran girls how to keep everyone fresh and focused here at the halfway point?
I mean, I think they're doing it. They're leading by example. I mean, they're out there every day working, working hard, and those new ladies are seeing that, and they're jumping right in there and working hard too, which is why we're having success. So I mean, I think they're going to continue to lead, by example, and those young folks, I believe, are going to continue to work hard, and hopefully we can put it all together here at the right time.
Last question for you here. This kind of on both sides of the spectrum. 3 straight meets, Greensboro, Louisville, and then the home meet here on October 8th. But really attention focused on Greensboro and Louisville. It's going to be a good measuring stick. University of Charleston this week. You get to see West Virginia Wesleyan and Wheeling Jesuit the next weekend. How big are these 2 meets coming up here?
Those are going to be really big. I mean, Greensboro this weekend, it's generally a fairly big meet, probably the biggest one we will be to this year so far, with some good competition. But then the next week at Louisville, it's going to be a really big meet. It's almost going to be like a regional meet. Atmosphere is going to be great. So we're excited to get there. And again, like I said, we just have to keep taking care of ourselves, and then when it's race time, we just got to go out there and take care of business and be mean out there.
Good deal, Coach. Thanks for coming by today. Concord cross country in action this Saturday, September the 24th, when they go to the Greensboro XC Invitational in Greensboro, North Carolina. For everything Concord University Athletics, be sure to stay up to date on our website, CU Mountain Lions, and also on our social media on Twitter at CU Mountain Lions and Instagram at the same address. For the head coach, Mike Cox, I'm Wes McKinney, and this has been the Coach's Corner.